Greetings! So I wasn't actually going to do a video today, but sometimes a topic comes along and I just want to talk about it. I'm going to do a video on the shootings in Plymouth on Friday, but more specifically, do we have a problem with loneliness and depression in young men in our society? Those of you that don't know, on Friday in Plymouth, a young man shot down 5 people at random in the street. It looks like he was motivated, well, obviously mental illness, but depression, loneliness, but more specifically the lack of success with women. We know this because he posted quite a few videos on Reddit and such before he carried out these shootings. Here's a small segment from Sky News.
They do not want, need or find average men attractive.
From his video posts, it's clear Plymouth gunman Jake Davison was deeply resentful of his lack of success with the opposite sex.
In this day and age, women have nothing but options.
At the very least, his videos show sympathy and understanding for those involved in the so-called incel movement.
Now, obviously this is absolutely tragic, and it's a combination of different events coming together. The guy, obviously mentally ill, depressed, lonely, had access to a firearm, which is quite disturbing. But what I want to talk about in this video is, do we have a problem with young men and loneliness? I just want to throw out some facts to start with. The society that we live in, that young men are growing up in, is a society where dating is solely based on looks. Now, you either swipe left or you swipe right on Tinder. Most interactions are done online, behind a screen, on Snapchat. That's how young guys now are developing their skills, because it's a skill that you have to learn as a young man. To, whoa, hello, I'm here. Sorry. It's a skill. It's an important life skill that men have to learn in life, to be able to talk to women, to be able to learn that. And in modern day, it's all done behind a screen, and it's not healthy. I don't think it's healthy. And I'll get on to what I think most dangerously modern young men have to deal with is the fact they have access 24/7, anywhere, anytime, at their fingertips, to hardcore pornography. And I think this is incredibly damaging to young men. I really do. Young men nowadays growing up can see more beautiful, attractive, naked women in an afternoon than anyone that grew up before the 1950s probably saw in their entire lifetime. And that has its effect. It has a massive effect. And watching porn, I think, is such a lonely, depressing, what do you call it, a hobby, or, well, in a lot of cases, an addiction. But it's such a lonely affair. You're a spectator, just watching 2 people have an emotional connection, and you're not involved. You're watching interact, have a human connection that you're completely not involved with at all, and probably never will be, because your social skills with trying to talk to women have been completely destroyed by modern technology. And I've done a video about this quite a while ago. Again, it was one of my early videos, so I don't really know the content, but I've done a video about OnlyFans, which obviously it comes under the porn category, really. Those of you that don't know OnlyFans, it's basically an adult Facebook, Instagram type thing, where basically men pay to have access to these girls' profiles. They put up adult content, but I think the main thing is the interactions, because any guy can get free pornography at any time online. But the thing with OnlyFans, and what I think is most damaging to young men growing up, is the communication. You pay to be able to communicate with these girls, and of course they're being paid to please you, so they're going to be happy with anything that you say. You know, you say, "Oh, let me see your tits, love." You know, they're like, "Oh, okay, of course you can see my tits." That's not helpful for real life, is it? You'd never dream of walking up to a girl and saying that to her. I don't know, maybe if you're a scaffolder or something, they're the only ones that get away with it. Let's see your jelly wobblers, whey! But seriously, sites like OnlyFans are not healthy for young men developing their skills to be able to socialise with women, and I think they're incredibly damaging. And it's basically, we live in a society now where it's easier for young men to just stay at home, have all the access they want to all free pornography, be able to chat with women and have instant gratification because they're always going to be nice to them, they're always going to say what they want to hear, and it works in the short term. They get their gratification from it, but all it really does, and ultimately it just leads to loneliness and depression, and in the most extreme circumstances, like we found out with Jake Davison, it leads to violence, murder and suicide. I don't know, it's an issue. I don't know how we deal with this. It's definitely a problem. I think talking about it is a start. I think we need to talk about this more. I don't know whether this will be talked about in the media. From what I've seen so far, it seems to just be going in a direction of how sick and twisted this young man was, and of course he was sick and twisted. But I think we really need to look into why he done this, and to a lesser extent, obviously this guy is one in a million, but so many young men out there are suffering from loneliness, depression, and it's an issue that we need to look into. And like I say, I don't have the answers, but talking about it definitely is a start, and talking about things like porn addiction, which is a real problem for young men, but it's such a taboo subject and it doesn't get talked about, and men don't want to talk about it. They're probably more comfortable talking about alcohol addiction or gambling addiction than they are porn addiction, but it can be just as destructive to people. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. Like I said, I wasn't going to do a video today, but this subject, you know, this happened over the weekend and I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know in the comment section. Take care, guys.